So the Rachel Corrie Foundation has a long relationship with the Middle East Children's Alliance, or MECA, which is the organization where Ziad currently works. I wanted to share two really brief personal stories about MECA. One, just after Rachel was killed, Barbara Lubin, who's the founder and executive director of MECA, flew from the Bay Area to be here to attend her funeral. In 2004, I traveled to Palestine on a delegation with MECA to get a better understanding of the situation and what had happened to Rachel. And at the time, as it is now, it's very difficult to get permission to enter Gaza. We spent most of the time in the West Bank, but Barbara was so determined that I get to Rafah that she managed to negotiate after hours and hours that myself and two MECA staff could go in through Erez into Gaza while the rest of the delegation waited for the whole day at the checkpoint so that I could go see where Rachel had died and connect with her friends there that I had been speaking to. So I have a warm spot for MECA in my heart. MECA has been a mentor to the foundation in many ways. They have done so much to meet immediate needs for children in Palestine and also in the Middle East. And they really operate out of a social change model. We are so excited to be joining forces with MECA's project to bring clean water to children in Gaza. And right now, we're raising funds for a purification and desalination unit for a kindergarten in a refugee camp in Rafah. And Ziad will give you the details of that project. And I hope tonight, after hearing him talk about the depth of the water crisis and the details of the project, that you will feel moved to contribute to that effort. In your program that we handed out, there's an envelope where you can make a donation, and we'll pass around a basket towards the end of the talk to collect those. So on to Ziad Abbas. I had prepared a detailed bio, including an amazing list of accomplishments from founding the IBDA Cultural Center to his journalistic endeavors. But when I asked him what to highlight, he told me that all I need to say is that he is a refugee from Dheisheh camp in the West Bank. So please give a warm welcome to Ziad Abbas.
Thank you, Rachel. مساء الخير. Okay. Good evening. I would like to thank Rachel Corrie Foundation for this opportunity to be here. And honestly, I heard a lot about Colombia, and it's an honor for me and for MECA to be here and to be with you. We heard a lot about the work you do. Of course, we started with Rachel and what she did and what she's still doing until these moments and for the future. And for the people here in Colombia, starting with the organization or the other groups here. And actually, it's something really promising. And for someone like me, coming from a refugee camp, I am 46 years old. I consider myself expired. But I feel I am inspired by the work here in Colombia. Anyway, I will start with my presentation. I know there are a lot of stuff going on. I like to share with you this.
Any violence, my love, accumulation, is not because this people is more violent than any other. It's an alarm, it's a sign, it's a signal that something is wrong in the treatment of this population.
suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. All of them from the same enemy.
Anyway, anyone aware of the documentary Occupation 101? Thank you. I recommend this documentary, and usually actually I start with my introduction, with this introduction, just to remind us with the history with other countries and ended in Palestine. I think they need to add now Tunisia, Egypt, and coming to the list. But still, this movie is something good to introduce what's going on in Palestine. And I think they have it in Rachel Corrie, and I hope you can see it. In any case, we'll move to our presentation. This is Palestine. It's clear, the slides? Yes. Okay, thank you. This is Palestine, the map of Palestine, 1878. And usually, I like the people to look to the map, and all the red points here, all the Palestinian villages. And you can see the black, it's mixed towns where some Jewish people, they used to live. But here in this map, actually, we have the first Zionist colony, which was this one. It was in 1878, and some people, they say 1882. And the first Zionist colony, actually, it was Petah Tikva. And the original name of the village called Mlabbis. And Mlabbis. And here, just to go back to the history, even before the first Zionist conference in Basel, 1897, they were planned by other Zionist groups to come to Palestine. And in this year, actually, a huge group of immigrants, Jewish immigrants, came to Palestine, especially from Russia and that part of the world, came to Palestine. And they built this settlement, and in the future they continue. And just I want to take you back a little bit, that in 1897, during Basel Conference, there were 3 proposals where Jewish people, they can start a homeland. The proposals are Uganda, Argentina, and Palestine. People in Uganda and people in Argentina, they were lucky, and we, the Palestinian, we got the proposal. And here, like, when I think about my own story, my family uprooted from a village called Zakaria. Here is my village. Zakaria. They were uprooted in 1948, October 1948. And my mom, she had 2 children that period. My brother, he was 2 weeks old, and my sister, she was 4 years old. And my mom, that moment, actually, what she did, she closed the house with the key, and she took the 2 children and a few things, and she moved to the mountain near the village, and she was waiting there. And she was thinking that maybe in 1 day, 2 days, she will return back to the village. But the Zionist groups in that period, they continue attacking the area and moving and actually pushing the people out until she finds herself in a cave on the borders between what we called 1948 area and 1967, what we call it sometimes the green line between the 2 areas. And this is when she was moved to the refugee camp. Here is my village. This picture actually, when I was doing my research about my village, I find this picture in a church in Jerusalem. This picture for my village in 1927. Zakaria village. And later I will show you the village right now, what it is. And the family in that period, and most of the people actually, when they moved in different direction. But some of the people, they went to the Hebron area. Some people, they went to Bethlehem area. Some people, they moved toward inside Palestine. So we have part of our people actually from the same village. They returned back to the village. But in 1950, the Israelis, they came and they took them and they sent them to Ar-Ramla area. Until now, we have some relatives. They are living in Ar-Ramla area. It's not far from Tel Aviv. Anyway, but in that period, when we speak about the Zionist gangs, they were a plan actually how the Zionists, they like to destroying the Palestinian community in general. And I don't know how many of you that read the book called The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine. That's great. This is another book I recommend it. The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine, for the Israeli writer, his name Ilan Babeh. And this book actually, in the beginning, the introduction of the book, he spoke about the meeting in that red house in Herzliya near Tel Aviv. And in that meeting, actually, when the Zionist leaders, they planned the ethnic cleansing policy. And how to do the plan, actually, it's called a Plan Dalet in Hebrew, a Plan D. And it was first starting like attacking the Palestinian, attacking the Palestinian villages, make it difficult for the Palestinian to live in their villages. And later we'll speak about the water. And one of the things they were targeted, actually, it was the water resources. Destroyed the water resources, because most of the Palestinians in that period, they were farmers, and they depend on the farms and on water, etc. And that meeting, actually, it was in end of 30s. I think 1938, 1939. So almost like 10 years before 1948. So here we can see the Zionist groups. In 1998, when Israel celebrated 50 years on the establishment of Israel, they opened the archive. I'm losing my assistant, actually. So when they opened the archive, me and Israeli friend, we went to the Israeli archive in Beit Agaron in West Jerusalem, and they show some pictures, a lot of pictures actually, for what happened in 1948. And me, I succeed to collect pictures from that archive, and I bought it, and I will share part of it with you. Here is the Zionist gangs when they are coming to the area where my village, Zakaria village and other villages in that area, when they are coming. So I was targeting like certain pictures from that region, from that part of Palestine. And here you see how they are with their small tanks. I don't know if I call this tank, but this is in 1948, what they used to have. This is another village near our village. It's called Ajur village. And here you can see their military jeep with their guns. And after they kicked everyone from the village, it's empty, and just they are moving inside the village. Here it's another village called Beit Natif. And most of the people actually from this village, they are living in my camp. And until now, if you go to that area, this house still exists until now. But here they kicked everyone actually. They uprooted everyone. They pushed the people outside. Here the Zionist groups, they are sit down and relaxing. You can see them here, they are cooking. And according to Plan Dalet, for example, here they kick the people first outside. They push them outside of the village. Second, they destroyed the houses. And part of the house is actually bombed. And third, after they destroyed the houses, they planted trees. After they destroyed everything, they planted trees. And of course, a lot of funds came from this country. And there is an organization called JNF, Jewish National Fund, JNF, Jewish National Fund, where until now they collect funds from United States to build parks inside Israel. And they work together with another organization called Karen Kayemet, which Karen Kayemet inside Israel, until now it exists, which they built in 1948, and they continue building and do the maintenance for the parks and forests and etc. But here can show you like some of the pictures in 1948 in the same village, Beit Natif. They are preparing the explosives here, and they bombed the house. Other Palestinian people, they were arrested. They caught them in the villages. Others, they escape, and this picture all the time remind me. Actually, this is on the cover of the Ilan Babeh book. And Ilan Babeh took it from the archive, the same. And here it reminds me with my mom all the time, with the two children running. And it's not a clear 100% here, but the woman without shoes. And my mom, when she left the house, she was without shoes too. And all the time remind me, especially with the Arab Palestinian, when they were uprooted, how they were moving groups together. And they were like, go and wait. In certain areas, they wait to see if they can return back or not. People, they were living very close to the coast. They used the sea. And here you see how they are running. This is during they were bombing the area and go to Lebanon. Using the sea, go north of Palestine, going to Lebanon. Other people, they were arrested. And here I can say some of the Palestinian people, they took the initiative to defend their lands. But they were arrested. They put them in jails. And third, they transfer them. They put them in a bus and they transfer them out. And until now, if you go to Israel, you'll find this kind of soldiers. And I am sure it reminds you with something. Here is the shock. Until now, if you go to Palestine, and maybe some of you did that, if you met with anyone from the catastrophe generation, after a few minutes, you will realize the shock. They have a psychological shock until these moments. And here, this shock is actually take us back to the fact that they were farmers. They were living in their villages. They were connected to their land. And suddenly, they became refugees in refugee camps. And here I put this picture, and actually I got it because this is like someone, he left his home. Actually, he's from Ramla, this man. And he's shocked for what happened to him in his way outside of his village. And this is what I realized with my mom and her generation too. Like, I remember my mom, she was only happy and she's smiling like, and only when they were speaking about their memories in the village, when they were living in the village. The same with my uncle. Here, which most of you know, how the 5 directions where Palestinian refugees, when they moved. And here is the number is actually 750,000 Palestinian, according to United Nations. 750,000 Palestinian uprooted in 1948. Some they moved to Lebanon, some to Syria, Jordan, West Bank, and Gaza. My family, they came to this area, to the Hesha refugee camp near Bethlehem. And actually, you know Bethlehem city, of course, where Jesus was born. So me and Jesus born in the same place. So, but in fact, what happened to the Palestinian community, and which my family affected too, like, for example, right now, my nephews and nieces, they are living in Syria, because my sister, she used to live in Syria. My brother right now, he's living in Jordan, and we are living in West Bank. And by the way, it's, my name is Ziad, and Ziad means extra in Arabic, additional. I am the youngest one in the family, and I came by mistake. This is the story. So since 1967, we, the brothers and sisters, we never met each other except, sorry, the first time we met each other after, since 1967, it was in 2005. Because my sister, she was in Lebanon, after that Syria. My brother, he was in Lebanon, and after that he came to Jordan. Now he's living in Jordan. And me and another brother and sister, we are living still in West Bank. We are just small family, 5, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. And only the first time we sit down together, the 5 brothers and sisters, it was 2005. And this is like few weeks before my sister passed away. My sister, she was the oldest one. And here it's not just our story as a family. Most of the Palestinian refugees living like this. Until now, you have people stuck in Lebanon, and you have other people stuck in Syria, in Jordan too. And for example, my brother and his family, they can't come visit us in West Bank. And even my nephews and nieces, not all of them, they are allowed to come to Jordan. My sister, they allowed her to come to Jordan only when she was sick. And because she had cancer, they allowed her to come to Jordan to the hospital. And we met her there. And most of the Palestinian refugees living like this. So the 750,000 Palestinian refugees uprooted in 1948, they were distributed to 59 refugee camps. Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, West Bank, and Gaza. In West Bank, we have 19 refugee camps. In Gaza Strip, we have 8 refugee camps, and the rest in Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. So, life in refugee camps. This is my camp, the Hesha camp. This is like the beginning. And here, the tent where my family used to live actually outside in this direction. But this is the Hesha refugee camp in 1948. This is the beginning. And in 1948, the Red Cross International, the organization, they took the initiative to relieve the Palestinian refugees before United Nations. And they established the 59 refugee camps. United Nations actually replaced the Red Cross in May 1st, 1950. So between end of 1948 until May 50, the Red Cross leading and relieving the Palestinian refugees. After that, United Nations started until today. Started their services for the Palestinian refugees until today. So here are the tents that the people, after they were uprooted, used to live in. This is the camp in 1956, and you can see this is the main street. Anyone have been Dehesha refugee camp? Here is the entrance, actually right now in the camp, and here the United Nations schools. Here where I grew up. I finished my elementary school and preparatory school in this school, and I graduated from this camp, and after that I went to other village to finish my secondary school. But you can see here actually people, they were living in tents, and United Nations, they decided to build small rooms. Like the people, they were depend in rooms and the tents. The rooms actually, they were very small. And we'll come back to the rooms later. But here, the catastrophe generation. The school, this is the school in my camp, 1949 actually, and 1950. This is not me, but one of the people in the camp. And here you can see the rooms. They're built by United Nations. Another picture for the rooms. And this is, when we speak about the history of Palestinian refugees, it's not something like we speak about numbers and people, they are just staying in refugee camps and they are living in refugee camps. And we are not actually like the Jewish people, where especially who was in the concentration camps, where many movies and a lot of stories like documenting their lives. But here you speak about generation by generation, they were born and they grew up in refugee camps. This is coming with the blood in your body, how you grow up and to grow up with you. For me personally, I was born in one of these rooms. And here you can see two rooms. The window here, one room, two room. Each room, it was 81 square feet. 9 feet by 9 feet each room. And each family, they had one room. And for example, when I was born, I am the 7th person in the family. 5 brothers and sisters and the 2 parents. We were living in 81 square feet. And the issue here, it's not just the room and how to live in the room. The real problem, it was the toilet. And maybe some of you remember, I don't know. The toilets in the refugee camps. Because United Nations, they decided each 25 rooms, like this, 1, 2, 1, 2, each 25 rooms, which it means each 25 families, they were dependent 2 toilets. 1 for women and 1 for men. And actually, I grew up waiting in lines to use the bathroom. Every morning, every time you want to go to use the bathroom, you will find some people there. And it was real problem for women, especially during the night. Men and women during the day, they can go to use the toilet. Women during the night, they need to go as a group of women together to use the toilet, or they need to ask their brothers to go. And honestly, this is one of the ways I used to have my income when I was a child. My sister, if she wants to use the toilet, she needs to pay for me first. And until now, we joke about it. So, and imagine that, like, every morning you need to wait in line. And when I speak about refugees, especially in my own experience, that it means you are waiting in lines all the time. The line to use the toilet, the line to get the water, the line to get the food. Your life in lines. And I still remember the celebration in my house when we succeed to have our own private toilet. It was in 1976. And people, they were dependent on the public toilets between 1948 until mid of 70s. This is the period. And here I'm not speaking about just our refugee camp. You speak about all the refugee camps, almost the same system. Other issue, it's like the water issue. And here you can see the women carrying the water on their head. And actually, I used to shower one time a week. And my mom used to go to carry the water on her head and to bring it to the house every day, and my sister. And here is the issue, like with water issue. Later we are coming to more details, but even since the beginning, since the people they were uprooted, and in 1948, Israel took a few military orders, and some of the main military orders targeting the water resources. In 1948, that the Palestinians, they are not allowed to have their own water resources. They are not allowed to have their own wells. Yani, you are not allowed to dig the ground and get the water from the ground. The same in 1967, West Bank and Gaza Strip, the military order number 92. Anyone interested in this issue about military orders, you can Google that. And actually, Beit Salem, the Israeli human rights, they did a lot of researches and they did a lot of studies and they published stuff about it, about the military orders targeting the water resources, and especially the military order number 92, which in very clear way that the Palestinians, they are not allowed to have their own water resources. So all the water resources in Palestine became under direct military occupation too, and controlled by the Israelis. And here the fact, actually, we are living in the refugee camp, and you don't have enough water. And the only way that our mothers and sisters, they were carrying the water on their head. Even when I was a child, I used to go out with my mom and carry the water and help her come back home. And until now, sometimes the people, they ask me, I'm living in Berkeley since 2 years. How is life treating you? I feel privileged, of course. And the only two things I enjoy, not the only two things, but one of the main two things I enjoy it by being here. First, I can shower every morning. And second, I can drive everywhere. I can drive, no one can stop me to go anywhere. And this is something like means a lot for me, where you can shower every morning. You have water every morning. Other picture for women. And here is my camp recently. And the Haitian concentration camp. Some of our youth in the camp, they wrote this in the main wall in front of the camp. And here is just to remind the Israeli army about the concentration camps. Hey, soldiers, don't forget the concentration camps. You need to remember the concentration camps. The traditional picture in Palestine, I call it. No justice, no peace. And this is my village right now. My destroyed village right now. This is the way how you see where many Israelis, they live there. And if you go there right now, you'll find only the school and the mosque and one of the houses. But here you have like the Israeli community. They destroyed most of the houses and they built their houses. Yes?
Is this village inside the green line?
Yeah, this is Zakaria. It's only 25 kilometers from Jerusalem, inside Israel. And now this village called Zakaria, it was Zakaria, but now it's called Kfar Zakharia.
So they changed the name?
They changed the name, but not that much different. Zakaria, Kfar Zakharia. Yeah. And here when I speak about like the forest and all this national parks, in Israel, the funds coming from this country. Kansas.
And if I can interject, the product of the code that initiated the boycott effort was a product that was the Jewish National Fund was profiting off of like 5 cents a box. That was a direct connection to India.
You know this map. And this is my mother village. My father is coming from Zakaria, but my mother coming from a village called the Jirash. And here this is the entrance of my village. Until now, if you go, you'll find this sign. Nature reserve. It's only for the Israelis to go to have fresh air and sometimes have barbecue. And the original people, the indigenous people, they are living in a refugee camp. And in reality, actually, this is the first time I went to visit my villages, Zakaria and Dijrash. And here, just to explain, I went with my uncle. My uncle, he was 18 years old in 1948 when he was uprooted from the village. And he's from the catastrophe generation. And as I was like shocked the moment I arrived to this village, because the village destroyed totally. You will not realize they were a village. And me, I thought my uncle, he got old and he forget the area. I told him nothing, there is nothing here, no village. And he insists, no, walk, I will show you. And we went a little bit, like after a few minutes walking, I find out that my uncle, he's an artist. And he started painting the village for me, but no papers, nothing. He started describing. And this is what the Zionists and the Israelis cannot understand. No matter what you will do, you cannot erase the history. And here actually where I start noticing like that the history coming from the stones. My uncle, he made the stones speaking, the trees speaking, and slowly he built the village in front of me. He showed me where my mom, the room used to be, where she was born, where she was grow up, etc. And after like just half an hour, I saw the village in front of me. And later on, after that visit, we started the oral history project with our organization, where we start taking children to visit the villages. And we continue with that. And last time we did it, 2007, when we took, and with international supporters, like, because I'm not allowed to enter there anymore, and people like me, so international supporters and volunteers with other members of organization called Zakharot. Anyone know Zakharot? Organization 1948, where they focus on right of return, and they start teaching the children about their villages. This is our slogan. You'll find it everywhere in the refugee camps. And this is the keys. I know you are aware of that. But me personally, my mom passed away in 1988, and she left me the keys of the destroyed house. I still have the keys with me in the state. And honestly, I don't bring it to the, it's something personal, which we keep it with us. And most of the Palestinian refugees, I can say, they still have the keys of their destroyed houses. And this man, actually, his name Abu Subhi from my camp, and he's still alive. But this is the original keys of his destroyed house. Gaza Strip. Now we want to shift a little bit. It's okay? I have time? Okay, thank you. Here is Gaza Strip. You know, 1.6 million people, they are living in Gaza. I know Gaza driving the world crazy. Like 1.6 million people, they are living in just 139 square miles. And as you see, this is the green. This is the borders with Israel until here. And you can see how many entrances we have, or gates to Gaza Strip. The 1.6 million people, they are living in this area. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates. 5 right now, it's the keys of the gates with Israel. They control the 5 gates. And 1 gate, it's here, it's Rafah with Egypt. And of course, you hear about the tunnels, right? Tunnels in Gaza. Here is the area of tunnels, especially this area. And I know they speak in the media, and United States, they funded the Egyptian, actually, they sent them money to build the iron wall. But you know, the iron wall, it's not up. They were digging down in the sand to build the iron wall. And they built part of it, actually. But the people from Gaza, they succeed to create a hole in this iron wall. So they stopped now. They are not building the iron wall anymore. It failed. And here when we speak about the tunnels, of course, this is the only way that the people in Gaza, they can survive. They say weapons, they smuggle from the tunnels. Not just weapons. They smuggle cars too. They smuggle cows. They smuggle milk. They smuggle food. They smuggle everything. They smuggle vegetables. This is the only way for the people in Gaza to survive, to get this stuff, because here the 5 gates, they are controlling everything. Since 2006, since Hamas won the election and the sanctions imposed, actually in less than 48 hours, United States of America, the government of the United States and Israel, they announced that they are going to boycott the new government in Palestine after Hamas won the election. And as a result of that, the sanctions imposed in Gaza Strip. And this is the only way for the people that to get their own stuff. The water issue in Palestine in general, it's a big problem, as I said before. But just to give you an idea about it, all Palestine, like what I say, Israel or West Bank and Gaza, we have 8 aquifers in Palestine. 4 inside Israel, 3 in West Bank, and 1 aquifer in Gaza Strip. And as I said before, that all the aquifers, it's in the Israeli hand, except now the Gaza. But the aquifer in Gaza Strip destroyed totally. And we'll see later, there are many reports from United Nations that show the water, estimate that the Gaza will have no drinking water in the next 15 years, actually 5 to 10 years, not 15 years. And this is United Nations, this is not me or United Nations, Amnesty International, Beit Salem, the Israeli Human Rights Organization. This is what they say about the water in Gaza. Other issue, it's like during the bombing period, here it's like water mixed with the sewage system. And here bombing Gaza, it's not just during the attack 2008, 2009. Bombing Gaza isn't from the beginning when they were bombing. They destroyed the main purification system. They destroyed the infrastructure for treating the sewage system, cleaning the sewage system. So it's mixed, the whole water, it's mixed with the sewage system and sewage water. And the water, it goes to the aquifer. Other issue we need to remember that before the settlers before they withdraw from Gaza, 2005, they used to have their own wells in the settlements inside Gaza Strip. And there were many wells inside the settlements where they are allowed to have their own water. But before they leave, and this is the story, like they said, and that they bombed the sewage system water to the wells so that it can go back to the aquifer. And it's part of the like revenge from the settlers before they destroyed all the settlement. They destroyed everything in the settlements before they draw. But before they do that, they did this. Bombing the water to the aquifer. And here we can see the aquifer. Here it was connected one aquifer, but right now it's going down. The water in the aquifer going down, almost done, finished. And here you can see the sea level. But some of the water from the sea level go back to the aquifer. And later we will see how the water, it goes, the sewage system connected to the sea. So the sewage system, the sewage water go to the sea and later return back to the aquifer. Here it's another issue with water, like we can see Oxfam here, they are distributing clean water too, because it's one of the major issues in Gaza Strip. Our children, the same. And this is like the way how the people, they can access to water. For several hours, 1 to 4 days per week. And now it's less, actually. The disease, and especially increase in kidney disease. I have some friends, they have kidney disease in Gaza Strip, and I have my brother, he has kidney disease too. And it's popular disease right now in Gaza Strip. And here most of the 75% of the refugees, the population, 75% of the refugees actually in Gaza, they face a lack of safe drinking water in Gaza. The sewage system the same, and here we can see a recent study found that excessive nitrate, what do you call it, nitrate? Nitrate levels in the drinking water, and this is what's make it dangerous. And 90% of the water samples had between 2 and 8 to the nitrate limit recommended by the WHO. I used to be like this actually, carrying the water. I love this picture. This is my favorite picture in the, and this is our children. And sometimes I say our children without childhood, and especially with the water issue. I will move a little bit faster. This is the Likud government. They allowed only 7 wells in West Bank, and it was under their control. Here, this picture after 2008, actually, when they bombed Gaza Strip, how the sewage system destroyed. And here, when I spoke about the sewage system, you can see this is sewage system, and the water to the sea, and the water, of course, under the ground go back to the aquifer. So, Maia Project, and you build, guys, you collect funds to one of the projects. I will do it short, I know I'm going. But here as a reaction for us, the international organizations actually, especially the EU, they build the huge purification systems in Gaza. End of 90s, actually. But it was destroyed twice, and now, until now, it's destroyed totally, and the purification system, it's not working in Gaza. And what we did, and usually what, in our work in Middle Eastern Alliance, usually we ask the people what you want from us, what you need us to do for you. And me, when I was working in Dahesha, actually, the oral history project, I spoke about it, we applied to many funders, many NGOs. They refused to fund this kind of project, to take our children to visit the villages. Actually, MECA, they funded our project, the first project in oral history. And here in Gaza, we asked the people what you want. And in Gaza, they have a children parliament in different areas. And in a Bridge refugee camp, we asked them what you need from us, what you want us to do for you guys. And usually you ask children, you think that they will come to ask you, hey, we need Atari, we need computers, we need, I don't know, all this kind of games. And the fact, actually, the children in the Bridge refugee camp, they had one demand, and it was, can we have a clean glass of water when we go to school? And it was shocking, actually, that period. So after that, we did the research, and we find out that there is a huge need for that. We contacted United Nations, and they said the United Nations, yes, we know, but we can't do anything as United Nations, because our priority is to offer food and this kind of stuff for the people in Gaza, not to go to the water issue. And so we find out, we continue with the research, we find some Palestinian engineers, they succeed to build purification and desalinization systems inside Gaza. 80% of the material, local material, and 20% they imported from outside. In the past, they used to import it through Erez checkpoint, but later they start smuggle it through the tunnel. And they succeed to build the purification systems. So the first project, we decided, okay, we'll build a purification system in the Bridge refugee camp. But after that, we were looking to Gaza Strip, we find out that 90 to 95% of the water in Gaza, it's polluted. It's another kind of a threat. If the children in Gaza, they will survive the bullets or the bombing, they have the water, it's coming another kind of attack. It attack them, their health, and it's a threat for them. So we decided to continue with this project. And we continue building projects and collecting funds. So far, we succeed. Right now, we have 27 schools. They have purification systems. And we have 9 projects in the process. So in 1 month to 2 months, we will have 36 schools and kindergartens, they have purification systems. And of course, in Gaza Strip, we have 260 schools. And this is, we do that because we believe the water issue here is very important. And for me, as a Palestinian refugee, I know and I believe inside myself, eventually, we will access our political rights. And especially this period, we can see the future. It's really not that much far for us. But we want the new generation in Gaza to survive until they can access their political rights. And water issue, it's a basic need. They need to have it. And we will continue with that. And I know Rachel Curry Foundation, and with the funds, they succeed to build a purification system. And we will continue doing that. This is part of my tour, where we raise awareness about the water issue on Gaza Strip. And we have many good, actually, people, they are really contributed and still contributing for that. We have Santa Fe, for example, in New Mexico. They succeed to build 3 big projects in 3 big schools. And the issue on Gaza Strip, like usually here, you have your water bottle, you fill it at home, you go to school or go to your work, right? In Gaza, no. They take the bottle empty, they go to school, they fill it, and they go back at home. And the purification system serve the children and serve the community around. And here when I speak about like over 30,000 children right now, they access the clean water. At the same time, there are over 30,000 mothers, they feel secure about their children when they go to school, that they have a clean water. And this is one of the main issues right now, I can say, in Gaza Strip. The other political issue, we know the water, even the last call from United Nations that this purification system, it's this aquifer, it's done. They need to do something. Even if today there is a peace, and United Nations and the world, they come to fix the aquifer in Gaza, they need between 20 to 30 years until they will fix the aquifer. So this is what the urgent need, we think it's important for the people in Gaza. And I will close here. As I told you, I believe for all what we hear about politics in Palestine, issue of Jerusalem, refugees, borders, I believe the key of the peace in the Middle East is right of return. No right of return, no peace in the Middle East. And I want you to remember that. The 750,000 Palestinians, they were uprooted in 1948. Right now, we are over 7 million Palestinian refugees. Any political solution will not include the rights of 2/3 of the Palestinian people. This political solution will not be accepted for the Palestinian people. Thank you. First, we have the 2 sides, two purification systems we work with. The first, the small one is for preschools, for kindergartens. The capacity, it's covering 500 children. And it costs like $4,300 to build it. The time, it depends like how many they have to do it, but it will not take that much time. And $600 per year for maintenance. What we do right now, we build the purification system, and the local, because we work with local committees, with the grassroots organizations, and the United Nations, they nominate the school for us, because we work with the United Nations too. The United Nations give us 10 names or 10 schools. Here are the schools we need to have urgent purification systems. The big purification systems, it costs like $11,300. And it covers between 1,500 to 2,000 students in the school. And the maintenance costs like $1,000 per year. And this is the local community, they are responsible about the maintenance. And here the maintenance, it's the filters, when they change the filters. And the purification systems, it's like there are the health ministry and experts in the field all the time. They check if it's working well or not. And so far, everything is okay.
Is the water, is it recycled?
It's cleaning and recycling and desalinization. I don't know the word exactly, how they do it in science. Yeah. but it's make the water clean, out of disease, out of anything, and make it ready for drink. That the children or the people, they can drink it, and it's clean.
Removes the arsenic?
I think so, yeah. This is the way. Well, one of the main reasons why Israel is still keeping the Golan Heights, because it's the resource, the water coming from the mountains, it goes to the aquifer and to fill Tiberia. Tiberia, it's one of the main resources of water there. And even when they occupied Lebanon, South Lebanon, when there were recommendations in their military cabinet that they should withdraw before the Litani River. But they said, no, we need to include the Litani River because they were bombing the water from the Litani River to their aquifers, and they use the water. They play with this. Even until now, they have like a peace agreement with Jordan. And Tiberia, they control the Jordanian River, the water in the Jordan River. And the Jordanians, they don't take their rights from the water. It's a big issue between Israel and Jordan, but the Jordanian, they keep it like quiet. They are allies. They have good relationship. But even they don't treat the Jordanian well because they keep still. They don't give them what they signed together to get their part of the water in Tiberia from the resource of that period. Of course, the whole region they are facing in 50 to 70 will face. But Israel, they use this from now because they want to control, even from the beginning, like they want to control the water resources. And right now they find out that we have gas in the front of our coast, actually, Haifa and all of this. And I don't know what will happen.
Well, thank you all very much for coming.
Thank you, guys.